Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming into a new week here. Happy Mondays if anybody enjoys said Mondays. I know I normally do not enjoy Mondays, but we have some great news today. We're gonna start with the first one here with Leah Thomas being specifically banned from swimming competitions. Technically, all biological males are banned. So we'll have quite a bit of information for everyone. Now, normally, what I would do is that I would technically get all this information out to you guys right off the get-go. But today, don't worry, guys, it's getting a lot better. I'm coughing a lot less. But today, we'll see things. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's banning specifically Leah Thomas, but it's not really specifically banning Leah Thomas. It's banning, specifically just transgender swimmers in general. So Leah Thomas is affected by this, but So we're gonna have a few reports here. Now, not all these reports are going to be 100% accurate, but I'll try my best. Okay, so first we're going to go to here is FINA restricts biological males identifying as females from elite swimming competitions. Now, I know what you're all talking about, what you're all saying. Well, mostly I would say the far left or the transgender community are probably going to really hate this. And I'm going to have to say this to you guys. Too bad. Deal with it. And this is specifically, I would say, men kind of defending females here. I really don't think that the women are really doing this all too much. But definitely, I think this is a step in the right direction. Again, I would much rather just have women defend for their shit, like take actual accountability for themselves and actually have things, have them strike back, rather than men having to do everything, because you're a strong, independent woman, right? So you should be able to fight for your own rights. But I digress. Regardless of whether who really did this, I agree with this. Women's sports are being lost very rapidly, and it's thanks to this transgender crap. And here's one thing that I will say about a lot of about what some great things that are actually different in this month, this Pride Month, than compared to a lot of the other months. What I've noticed is that yes, there's a lot of companies doing their own stupid Pride Month garbage shit, and then there's also a lot of backlash though towards Pride Month, I think, in general. Like, a lot of the things that are trying to do this Pride Month stuff is not actually having a lot of effect. A lot of people are just ignoring it or not caring, which is what I think it should just be a thing to begin with. Here's the reason why I hate Pride Month, and specifically onto why it's such a big deal to me. It's the same thing that would have the same cause with with Black History Month that it would have with Pride Month. I don't like having to talk about it. I don't care about your feelings or your personal or your sexual orientation or whatever. Just shut up and stop shoving it down our throats, and it will be perfectly fine. But every time you shove it down our throats, it gets really old really quick, and I really just don't hate it. And you're starting to see this in the media and just people in general, where they're getting tired of it. And I don't blame them. It's just like, we just want to go on our days. We don't care about what you do. Just leave us out of it. And you're shoving it down people's throats. And that's what people don't like. And again, it's, as I said before, it's going to backfire on them, because what happens is that people get tired and they start actually hating you because you keep shoving things down their throats. So this is a long time coming. And honestly, the trenders only have this to blame. And eventually, it's going to have to happen with the Black History Month as well. it's not that bad because it's not nearly pushed as hard as it is in Pride Month, but if they push it harder for Black History Month, it will eventually reach to the same state, to the same level, because again, people don't care. We understand the difficulties that Black people had to go through in this country. Those no longer are a thing now, so stop talking about it. I'll actually get on to the article this time, guys. FINA, the world's top international swimming association, announced a new policy on gender inclusion on Sunday that further restricts biological males identifying as females from elite swimming competitions. The move comes following a vote of the FINA governing body regards the controversial issue of biological males participating in women's sports. We have to protect the rights of our athletes to compete, but we also have to protect our competitive and fairness at our events, especially the women's category at FINA competitions. I like how they have to, especially at the women's category. I don't know about that one. I would just say and at the women's category, but I would not say especially. But again, this won't affect men, and this doesn't really affect men because biological women, are not going to affect men's sports. It's just not going to happen. FINA President Hussein Muslim said in a statement, which I cannot pronounce these names at times. We'll also see the actual press release here. The vote, which was 71.5% in favor of the new policy, took place after Congress heard speeches from representatives of a working group that was set up in November 2021. This working group consisted of 3 specialist groups: an athlete group, a science and a medicine group, and a legal and human rights group. After analyzing the conclusions of these groups, FINA developed a new policy that will apply at all FINA events. The policy will also be followed for world record ratification wherever the competition took place. The full FINA gender inclusion policy can be found here, which we'll go to again after we read this. Included in the policy are proposals for an open competition category. FINA will establish a new working group that will spend the next 6 months looking at the most effective ways to set up this new category. Commenting on the policy, FINA President Hussein Muslim said, "We have to protect the rights for our athletes to compete, but we also have to have competitive fairness in our events." Blah blah blah. Already said before. FINA President added, "FINA will always welcome every athlete. The creation of an open category will mean that everybody has the opportunity to compete at an elite level. This has not been done before, so FINA will need to lead the way. I want all the athletes to feel included in being able to develop ideas during this process." The new FINA gender inclusion comes, in fact, out on June 20th, 2022, which is today. So, what we see here is a lot of good changes. The only biological males who could compete in women's swimming under the new policy would include swimmers who have male puberty suppressed beginning at Tanner stage 2 or before age 12, whichever is later, and they have continuously maintained their testosterone levels in serum or plasma below 2.5. Which essentially is impossible, because if anybody had any right mind, nobody would do this to their child, and it's pretty much what I could consider child abuse. I'm pretty sure a few laws like Florida has put this into place where doing anything of the sort will be considered child abuse. So yeah, that's not really going to work. And so the new policy would prohibit athletes like Leah Thomas from competing in elite swimming meets. Thomas made the history earlier this year as the first transgender swimmer to win an event at the NCAA Division at Women's Swimming Championships. Wow! Ha! Hey, NCAA cat. from Drexel. A little shout out there. Thomas had also shared plans to pursue professional swimming with hopes of reaching the Olympics in women's swimming. The new policy may threaten the option for Thomas and similar swimmers. "I intend to keep swimming," Thomas told ABC. "It has been a goal of mine to swim at Olympic trials for a very long time, and I would love to see that through." Yeah, if you're a female and you do it at go do it at a male's thing. If nobody's stopping you, just go do it at a male's event. Alright? Just do it at males. Nobody's stopping you. Former UK swimmer Sharon Davies told BBC Sports she agreed with the decision. 4 years ago, along with 60 other Olympic medalists, I wrote to the IOC and said, "Please do the science first," and no governing body has done the science until now, he said. That is what FINA has done. They have done the science. They have got the right people on board. They've spoken to the athletes and coaches. Swimming is a very inclusive sport. We loved everyone to come and swim and be involved. But the cornerstone of sport is that it has to be fair, and it has to be fair for both sexes, she added. Athlete ally, a pro-LGBTQ that supported Thomas in women's swimming, spoke out against the new policy. FINA's new eligibility criteria for transgender athletes and athletes with intersex variations is discriminatory, harmful, and unscientific, and not in line with 221 IOC principles. It is scientific, and it is not. It is scientific. It is not discriminatory. You are specifically trying to remove metals and stuff from specific actual biological people, which is scientific proven. So you're wrong. If we truly want to protect women's sports, we must include all women, and which, again, it's telling you that it is not, that they're not women. So sorry, not sorry. Athlete All Alley tweeted on Sunday in the National Swimming Federation. Well, there you have it. But we also have some other stuff here that we'd have to go in. So how much is this? So this is 22 pages. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole 22 pages here. All right. So this is mostly just kind of show you what the inclusion policy is, and kind of gives you more of the things that would be going in, like telling you what is all going on. I will put this in the description so you guys get to see this. But again, this is pretty much what is going through all the inclusion and all this stuff. Most people don't usually get to see this stuff, so hopefully you guys will click on it and we'll go through, and you will go through it and kind of see everything that's going on here and the stuff. But again, as I said, I think this is a good step. So far, we have a few people that we have people obviously coming out against this, but I don't think they're going to win. But again, women has the right to fight against it, and let's see what comes of it. I'm pretty sure that this will probably be pretty much staked in, because at this point, people are getting tired, and I don't think people really want to listen to it. And honestly, whenever Pride Month comes in and I specifically have to deal with something like this, it's annoying. I hate it being shoved down my throat. Ever since I was in high school, I hated it, because they're telling me to do this or whatever, and it has no effect on me because I don't really care. Like, you don't need to tell me this, because it has, like, I already accept all these people that you're mentioning. I just don't want to shove them down my throat. So what you're doing is just making me hate your organization. So, yeah, this is coming from someone that was never political at all, especially in high school. And I just went about my own business, and I'm addressing things that I hated when I was in high school, coming from the normal person in to when they see this stuff and be like, they just don't care, or they don't care, they ignore it, or they're frustrated that it keeps them being shoved down their throat and being labeled that they're this, when they just don't really care as long as you don't shove it down their throats. So, again, I guess this is a victory, but we'll see what else comes our way in today's actual articles. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.